Okay, let's get into this. We're
Oh,
doing a deep dive on, well, something that feels really pressing right now. Artificial intelligence meeting creativity.
yeah.
And the question is kind of disorienting, isn't it? Not just, can machines think, but can they actually create?
Mm, it's a big one because we're already seeing it, right? Algorithms making music, generating art, writing stories even.
Yes.
Some of it feels surprisingly human.
It
And
does.
it really pushes on something fundamental about what we considered uniquely us. Harari talks about this in Homo
Right,
Deus.
you've all know
Yeah,
Harari.
he points to this big cultural shift that frontier we thought was just for Homo sapiens creativity. It's being challenged now by, well, what he calls creative algorithms.
Exactly. And in this part of our deep dive, we really want to move past just the technical
The
system.
code itself.
Right. We're trying to examine how artificial intelligence is challenging the, I guess, the soul of creativity.
Mm.
It makes you ask, if algorithms can mimic who we are so fluently, does our human originality, does inspiration, does that uh, emotional depth, does it still matter
Yeah.
in the same way? I mean,
That's the nerve, isn't it? Because the focus shifts kind of from the algorithms themselves to the human psyche, to our own perhaps really deep fear of being, well, out-created.
oh, created, yeah.
And what's fascinating or maybe unsettling is that these algorithms, okay, they're trained on massive amounts of human work. So they get style, they get form.
They learn the patterns.
Exactly. But they don't feel, they don't hope or suffer or remember like a person does. And yet,
Mm.
the output looks like art. It can feel like art. Sometimes you genuinely can't tell the difference.
So is that mimicry enough? I mean, are we getting to a point where we value the result, the effect it has on us, more than, the artistic process behind it?
Yeah.
Or the origin?
Or the consciousness, the lived experience that went into it.
Yeah.
It definitely raises that question. If these algorithms can just replicate the aesthetics, maybe even evoke real emotion in you,
Right.
does that just blow up the whole idea that creativity needs consciousness? Or suffering, memory, all that messy, subjective stuff we associate with being human.
Because the output's there.
The output is there, but the why and the how, completely different, radically different.
And you could, I suppose, start seeing imagination itself as just patterns,
Yeah.
data flows.
In that kind of framework, yeah. Meaning isn't from some inner experience, maybe, but just from processing power.
Yeah.
Recognizing patterns.
And the more something can be measured and copied and optimized.
The more value it holds. It's a view where art could almost become like a prediction, an algorithm predicting what patterns will hit the right notes with an audience based on all the past data.
Wow. So optimizing emotion.
And if you follow that logic, maybe human experience itself starts to look secondary to just optimization.
Oh.
Yeah, the messy bits, the irrational stuff, the soulfulness we've always linked with really deep human creativity, maybe that gets filtered out for clean, measurable efficiency.
But isn't that the irony? A lot of the thinking we're touching on suggests our best originality, our deepest inspiration, it often comes from that exact irrational, imperfect, messy human nature.
Precisely. That's the paradox.
So what happens if we start sort of surrendering that messiness,
Yeah.
chasing that algorithmic perfection? It really makes you think about what we even mean by creative.
Yeah.
What do we actually value?
Yeah, the tension there is really strong. Algorithms master the look, the feel. They can trigger emotions by matching patterns, fine. But do they have consciousness? Do they suffer? Do they remember in that human way? All the things we traditionally thought you needed for that profound creativity we associate with Homo sapiens.
Which really pushes us back to that idea you raised.
Yeah.
I mean, that what we value is shifting
Yeah.
away from the internal journey of the artist, the human source,
Yeah.
towards just the external product, the effect it has on you, the person experiencing it.
Yeah.
And it leaves you with a pretty powerful thought, kind of echoing Harari's framing again.
Will the storytelling of the future, the narratives we consume, will they still have the marks of the human storytellers? Their specific pains, their joys, their unique views shaped by life.
Like the patterns, the structural patterns learned by algorithms from all that human history.
Exactly.
It forces you to ask, fundamentally, why did human creativity matter so much to us in the first place? Something to really mull over.